to achieve a new dimension in sound, impossible to obtain in a monaural recording.
What's going on out there, CSR2 racing community? It's MrXsee coming at you today, live and direct, doing the Prestige Cup for Season 50 with the Honda Civic Type R. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on in. Thanks for your patience. Alright, right now I am running currently the brand new iOS update 1.16. I'm going to take you through a little walkthrough with some of the changes that's with the game as well. But one of the main things that is easy to see from this screen is the new license plate. They went from the original custom street at the top and racing at the bottom to more personalized plates. So the more personalized plate, as you can see, says Santa Palma on the top of it, and that's going to be on all your regular cars. Any cars that you win, such as boss cars, they're going to have personalized plates for those based off of the tier. So for tier 1, you got a personalized plate that's just for that. Tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, tier 5. And I'll go ahead and show that to you guys real quickly before we jump into the race. So I went on and made some changes and adjustments. Got the font size to be a little bit bigger on the in-game chat. That shows up here in the live stream, so that way you can see the questions a little bit bigger. And clearly I see I have a typo. Plugging up the gear now, I say UPT and HE. But when we take a look, we're going to jump on in. Also, one of the update features is that the 1.1, the Koenigsegg 1.1, now is actually faster. Before it was kind of slow. They did a buff, as some people like to call it. And as you can see, the regular old license plate says Santa Palma on it. This is part of the new Ferrari 70th anniversary. They have a racetrack for that. I'm going to jump on over to the boss's lobby for elite licenses. I have all the elite license cars, so it's easier for me to show you guys the personalized license plate for that. For the regular in-game storyline, I didn't pick up all the boss's cars. I only have 2 of them. So the license plates are the same for those 2. So just jumping on back here for Tier 1, it's the New Fangs territory. So you get a customized New Fangs license plate that shows up on your car now. If you go over to Tier 2, if you have any Tier 2 cars that are boss's cars, you get to see what this personalized plate looks like. And the colors are a little bit more eccentric with it too. But now you get to see, looks like it's the Gold Rush for Tier 2. And then when you go over to Tier 3, that was the crew that actually stole all the cars. Mr. Tyler Shacks hired those guys to steal all the cars. And this is what their license plate looked like. And it's for the Azure Inferno. And next up we have the grand finales, or the grand finals, not the grand finale, the grand finals. And this is what their license plate looks like. And once again, it shows the grand finals. And if you haven't had a chance to look at it yet, take a guess real quick while we bring up Tier 5, the boss car, and take a guess on what it is. I actually seen it earlier, so I know what it is. But before you guys take a look at it, what do you think it is? Anybody? Anybody? Pause the video, take a guess. And now let's go ahead and jump on in and take a look. And since it's Tier 5 and this is Tyler Shack's territory, we're looking at Shack's Industries. So that's the new personalized plates that show up. Add a little touch. For the Ferrari event, we don't have any personalized plates for that. And for the Fate of the Furies events, there's no personalized plates for that. But just looking at that, that's a nice little touch. Hopefully in the future, we can get those different events where we can get personalized plates for those as well. How's it going there? SpongeBob K on Mighty B and Copyright School. Just tell me what you think. I haven't heard of SpongeBob K on Mighty B and Copyright School, so I can't tell you what I think in regards to that. I got some points I'm going to collect here. Today's going to be the Prestige Cup day. This is what this race is. This live stream is about. And also, my Civic Type R, I have all the parts on it, but I haven't loaded any stages or any upgrades or anything like that. I have a bunch of fusions on it. So let's go ahead and change car. Jump into the Civic Type R. This is basically a stock version of this car right now. So let's see how we do on the first one. So I got my Jerry's Daily Bonus to pick up. I have the Token Cup points to pick up, as well as this 300,000. So for my crew, I'm going to be collecting a whole lot of points for us. And we have not had an opportunity to claim the Prestige Cup car yet for Milestone 1. We should get that in the next day and a half, roughly. But another feature change too with the license plates is some cars actually have license plates on the front now. So let's go ahead and knock out this first race and see what I can do. No knives. We're just going to drive it and see what we can do. Now, once I get done with this, more than likely I'm not going to be able to win any other races, if I can even win this race. So we're going to go take a look at the car and the setup and see what I actually have on it. So I was able to win the first race with no, it's basically stock, so no fusions on it. I have no stage upgrades, nothing like that. I ran a 13.976 against a 14.1. Pick up my wimpy little $2,000 to go with the $2,100 I got along with it. So I'm going to take another shot at taking a second race and see if I can go ahead and get 2 races with stock out of the Prestige Cup. The time to win is, I believe, 10.6 I seen. So I believe I definitely have the car capable of doing that. I can't speak right now if I actually do or not, because I actually have not driven this car. This is the first time I've drove it. So let's go ahead and see what we can do with the second race. Alright, and doing some good shifts and some perfect shifts. When the car is lower in tiers, it's better to get more perfect shifts and good shifts. As you go up on the tiers, you tend to want to get more good shifts or even bad shifts. And pick up my 10 gold coin. So with that being said, 232 RP. Let's go ahead and try to tackle the third race out of it. And see what we can do. We're going to race until we can't race any longer, and then we'll go drop the parts on the car. Alrighty. And these are all tier 1 cars I'm racing against, but you can lose against tier 1 cars because tier 1 cars can go pretty fast. My tier 1 cars can race up against some tier 3 cars. Of course, stock we're talking about here. We're not talking about fully upgraded tier 3 cars. So look at that. Stock. I was able to get 3 races won, but I barely won that one by 0.03 of a second. Alrighty, pick up these uncommon parts. Alrighty, now let's go ahead and try to win this last race. Just got notice from one of my crewmates. They have the posted times with all the cars with the new update here. And apparently the Aperta, the LaFerrari Aperta has been slowed down. Allegedly it was supposed to be running a 6.9. and now it looks like it's running more along the lines of 7.5, I think someone has said. So let's go ahead and jump on into the car. Let's go ahead and upgrade it. And yeah, it looks like it runs a 7.7, the Aperta. So big change there with that. A lot of people was expecting it to be the fastest car, and it doesn't make the fastest car. So that still stands as being the 7.4 runs the TS1 GT, the brand new car in the game. And so the TS1 and the Hobbs Roadrunner GTX are the 2 fastest cars in the game. So currently my car is sitting at 39 to 42 upgrades, 33 fusion parts out of 60. What's going on, Anonymous Gang? How's it going? I'm going to go ahead and grab some fusion parts out of the silver crates, out of the bronze crates, I mean, for the prestige parts. I haven't grabbed any yet. I got my 2 free pulls out of it. So I'm going to pull now to get a stage 6, and I'm going to go ahead and if I have any uncommon parts that can be fit on the car, which I don't believe, I'll go ahead and fit those on. But I think I should be good to go with being able to knock it out. I'm going to put the car at stage 3. Wow, you really do only get 2 parts for the tier 2 car. This is like totally not fun. No way to stock up Honda parts for that inventory in regards to trying to get your car geared up for the new Liberty Walk NSX that's coming in the game. At 2 each, that's definitely not a whole lot of parts to be pulling. No, didn't forget about you. I hadn't heard from you for a while, and I haven't been playing the game to catch you on here. I hoped you had been doing fine. Anonymous Gang. Did they ever get your account switched over? Did the servers come up? I know last time you said that the servers was down, so you couldn't get your account switched over. And got another transmission upgrade for the car. I actually already have a transmission on the car, so that is now officially a duplicate part for me. So let's go ahead and we're going to put it at stage 3. And there go my stage 3 transmission. Like I said, I already have it at stage 6. Gotta love this game. All the information and added all details, and everybody digs out there and finds it. And I'm not gonna tune the car just yet. Just gonna swiggle things around, move them, see if I can get better numbers out of it. And that's gonna be about it. Because once I put it at the stage 5 or stage 6, then that's when I actually will tune the car. I'm not gonna spend too much time tuning it now. Don't get a lot of NOS out of there, I see. Need stage 4 in order to do transmission. How fun is that? Alright, so the CX70 looks like it runs at 80.5 mile. The Jeep Trackhawk, that runs at 12.0 when it's fully maxed out. And the Liberty Walk NSX looks like it runs at 10.6. So those are the posted times that we all have available for the new cars in the game. Some people are upset that the fully maxed out car is not going to be the fastest car in the game, but I personally have no preference. Most of my cars that are fully upgraded, I don't actually drive them very often. Because my main thing for me playing the game is to actually win races. And when you're going into a maxed out lobby with the maxed out car, anything can happen that can cause you to actually lose the race. So, and the goal is to win. And a lot of people love to swap. I'm not big on swapping. I like to race to win. So I don't really drive maxed out cars in maxed out lobbies. Let's see what we can do here. I'm not going to fire the NOS on this, just see how fast it actually runs without the NOS, but we'll just stage 3 upgrades on it. And that's a bummer that it's still down there. I know that the ability to get your account switched over is actually a good feature, but it has to be able to work for it to be any good. Millie, CSR2 here on YouTube and on Twitter and things, he actually used to be an Android user, and he switched his account over to Apple, and he said he actually loves the Apple device that he switched over for the gaming experience. I've only been Apple experience with playing the game, so I don't know what it's like playing on Android. But to me, as long as the experience is good and it's working, that's all that really matters. The new upcoming cars all seem cool. The only thing about the upcoming cars is all that we know about them is their speeds when they're fully maxed out. We don't really get any idea of how they drive, how well they shift, or how easy it is to manage driving them. So to me, I like the experience of collecting cars. I like the experience of getting new cars. Actually, that's one thing I have to do too. I have to go through and strip out a bunch of cars I have in my garage. This particular car is a tier 2 car that's 3 stars, and it was very difficult for me personally to pull. I pulled at different times, and I wound up pulling 15 cars, and I picked this car up as the loyalty reward. So I was not able to pull it in less than 15 pulls. So it took me 750 pulls to get it, and I only got it because of the loyalty reward. But that's something that a lot of people are like, oh, it's a tier 2 car, it should be easy to get. And the cars are on rated systems inside of their buckets for each tier. So if you're dealing with a tier 1 car, the cars that you can buy for cash or you can buy for gold, those cars are no star cars. Or if they're tier 1 or tier 2, they're going to be 1 star. So a 2-star car at tier 1 or tier 2 is easier to pull than a 3-star car at tier 1 and tier 2. It's similar to getting a tier 5 5-star car. That's something a lot of people don't think about and they don't consider with the algorithms that they have in the game. Each tier has the easy to get cars, which are the cars that you can buy with cash or gold, that basically have no stars, or they have 1 star if they're tier 1 or 2, 2 stars if it's a tier 3, or 3 stars if it's a tier 4 or 5. Those are the most prolific cars that are available in the game. Then next up is the additional stars on top of that. So when you get 1 additional star, it's easier to pull than 2 additional stars. So for a tier 1, that's going to be 3 stars. That's going to be harder to pull than the 2 stars. And the 2 stars is going to be harder to pull than a 1 star for tier 1 and tier 2. When you're dealing with a tier 3, the 2 star is going to be the easiest. The 3 star and the 4 star are going to be harder. And that's just how the game is built up. So when I pulled these crates, I actually pulled a number of 3-star cars, but they was for other tiers. So my luck was basically getting a bunch of cars that are easy to pull instead of the harder cars that are to pull. So that's something to think about when you're pulling crates and the buckets of the game. Each tier has its own algorithm set up with how to get the cars, and then you clump it all together and that becomes your big old giant algorithm inside the silver crates. The same thing with the gold crates. So you can think of 1,000 cars in the silver crate, and in that 1,000 cars of tier 1, all tier 1 cars, probably 850 of them are going to be 1-star cars. And then it's going to probably be 125 that's going to be 2-star cars. And then the 3-star cars are going to be probably 25. So that equals out to 1,000 cars. So out of 1,000 pulls, you're probably going to have 25 chances at tier 1 to get a 3-star car in this scenario. Now there is no 3-star car for tier 1. There's only 1 star and 2 stars. But in tier 2, you do have 3-star cars available, such as the Honda Civic Type R that we have here, the Ford F-150 Raptor. That's a 3-star car. Those are ultra hard to get for tier 2. But you're more likely to get a 3-star from tier 5 before you get a 3-star from tier 2 in the bigger algorithm. Once you go up inside the different tiers, the easy cars to get become slightly smaller. Tier 1 just doesn't have a lot of cars in it. So that's why it's a whole lot of 1-star cars that you'll pull for that. Tier 2, the algorithm is less of the 1-star cars because there is more 2-star and 3-star cars available to fit into the algorithm. But when you get into tier 5, there's probably only 4, I believe there's 4 cars that you can purchase in the game. You can purchase the Huracan, you can purchase the F12 Berlinetta, you can purchase the 570S, and actually I think that's it. It may be a 4th car that you can purchase at tier 5, but there's only a few. So when they take up the majority of the amount of cars that you can purchase, that's why you get a lot of these duplicate cars over and over and over, the same thing. But getting a tier 4 and a tier 5 3-star car is easier than getting a tier 4 or tier 5 5-star car. Like the famous Ferrari F40. That car is very rare to be able to be retrieved. Same thing with the Ferrari LaFerrari at tier 5. Those cars are ultra rare in the algorithms, but if you go into any of the lobbies where you race up against people who have those cars, especially in the fast lobbies or even in the middle lobbies, you see a whole bunch of these cars out there. I would probably say 50 to 65% of those people that have the cars have them through cheats or hacks in the game. Just an estimation. There's no accuracy involved with that. Just because of the rarity of the cars and the amount of people who actually have the cars. Those two just don't match up. You know, there are a number of people who actually do pull the cars legitimately, but those cars don't show up as often as you would see them in the lobbies. The fastest upcoming car is actually the GTI. That car should be running a 7.4, I believe. The Aperta is actually running slower. The Aperta, I believe I said earlier, runs an 8.0 with it maxed out. Now, so far the information that's coming out of with the update, no one knows for sure because they haven't really had a chance to tinker around with it. What's going on, Juggernaut? No one's had an opportunity to really tinker around and see if maybe any of the cars run like the Roadrunner, where you have to adjust the car with the settings. It's not about max tuning based off of the EV that you can get on a car, but you have to actually adjust it. So I would give it probably by Valentine's Day, February 14th, to really get the input of how the cars actually work and function for the community. Once people get the cars, they get them maxed out with the hacks and the cheats that they have, and they start to tinker around with the tunes and the settings, you should start to see YouTube videos pop up with the different cars, with max and what the max setup is for the cars, so you can get a good feel for what they're doing. Anybody else got questions out there? Anonymous Gang could talk all night long if you guys let them. So I want everybody to feel free to be able to communicate and share and get their talk on. Alrighty. So far I am going to have to fit more upgrades on their car because I'm only running a 12.9 on there. And the finish time I believe is 10.6. I definitely should have enough stage 6s on the car. I believe I have enough fusions. Being that I haven't driven it, I'm not for sure what it runs. So we're going to all play together and see. Once I run out of fuel, I'm going to jump on out, go strip out a couple cars, and then come on back in here. And actually, I'm going to upgrade the car at some point. Once I need to upgrade the car, then I'll upgrade it. But I have a whole bunch of cars to be stripped, so I'll strip one or two of them. Oh, you changed your name, Miguel. Wow, your iPhone wouldn't charge and it didn't get service? That's not cool. Hopefully your new device is able to play better for you and everything starts working out and you can get back into the game. A chat and live race is okay to a certain degree. My only issue I have with a chat and live race is that too many people don't really know how to hold conversations. They don't read what chat is talking about. They don't really interact and engage. So I kind of look at a chat inside the live race, which would be a waste because a lot of people really won't use it to try to negotiate swapping or negotiate betting or even trying to talk up a bet. Because one of the things that is a real mystery with the game, no one seems to have an answer, is the lobby system. Everybody has speculation on how the lobby system works, but no one has a true answer on it because cars that run a 10.0 second get into lobbies with cars that run a 10.3 and a 10.4 second. And betting, everybody always talk about, oh, I always bet, I always make a ton of money, but it's about what lobby you go into and if you can actually make bets. But it's not a fair race for someone who's running a 10.3 seconds to be into a lobby with someone running a 10.0. They don't have a chance at all in order to be able to win a race. So until we can get the lobby systems where the cars are equal, we can truly see that, okay, I made a mistake, I didn't shift, I didn't do this. You know, you made a human error, that's why you lost. You know, there's no error that causes you to be 0.3 seconds slower than another car or 0.2 seconds, and you know, this is the maximum time that your car can run. And that's what happens a lot of times. You get into these lobbies, and look at that, the next race was red. So I got to do more upgrades on here. So let's go ahead and drop it. We're going to update to everything that I have. So stage 5 for everything. You want the emojis in your name there? The transfer from iOS to Android is the same as Android to iOS. You have to contact support. You click here on the little screen, you click on the little settings, you scroll up to support, and then on the right hand side, contact us. In order to make that transfer though, you're gonna have to have your old information and ask them to transfer it over. But Anonymous Gang has been waiting for that to occur, and he said that the system is currently down. So you may not be able to get that taken care of, but get your old player ID information, send it on over to them, ask them to transition your account over and see what they say. Hopefully they'll be able to get your account switched on over, and hopefully they'll be able to get the system fixed so Anonymous Gang can get switched over. Because having the emojis in your name is actually pretty cool. I will be open to admit that I like that feature and function that we have there. Let's see. Yep, I got some more adjustments I can do. One thing I do recommend, since we do have another Honda coming into the game, that if you can, hold off on your fusions. Hold off on them. The only fusions I don't recommend holding off on are uncommon fusions. Uncommon fusions, you get a whole bunch of those all the time. So holding off and waiting for those is not that big of a deal. But your rare and your epics, I definitely say hold on to those if you can. Because at the end of the day, you don't know when you're going to get those. Hondas don't pop up in the game very often for parts to be stripped. So I would highly recommend, check your inventory, see what you have going on, and make wise decisions. But when it comes to uncommon parts, I don't worry about those at all. Let's check our dyno. I run a 10.6, maybe. Let's see what I can run. If I can do a 10.6 and I don't have to add anything to the car, I should be able to run. Yep, the player ID from your old account. So if your player ID on your iOS device is 10.10.10.10, and your player ID on your Android device is 11.11.11.11, you want to contact support, say, hey, this is what my old player ID was. It was 10.10.10.10. I want to have it transition from my Apple device to my Android device, and they should be able to let you know if they're capable of doing it or the system is down, and then they'll be able to respond to you accordingly. Alright, so remember, I got to get faster than 10.7, and I should be able to finish this race with this current setup. I don't have to make any changes, don't have to add any more fusions to it. And let's see here, 17 seconds. That's a long half mile. But my quarter mile time is 10.654. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and push it and see what I can do. Because I paid for a session, it prompts me to leave the session. If I hadn't paid for the session, it wouldn't prompt me. But let's go ahead, and I completed 60 perfect launches, so I got 150 gold coins. Now I got 60 more to do. Before we do that, okay, we're gonna jump on over. Put the Veyron over here. Okay, I got a stage 6 for the 2017. Didn't even know I got a stage 6 for that. Android is slow. What's slow about it? We'd like to hear what makes it slow. Alright, just drop that stage 6 transmission on there. Woohoo! So now my 2017 is currently sitting at 41 and 42. Nissan, I seem to get a lot of Nissan parts for whatever reason. So let's go ahead and jump on over here. Alright, so we'll go to the Golf GTI. We're going to strip 3 cars. Reflex Silver for a Tier 1 Golf GTI. 35 upgrades on it. Let's go ahead and strip. So which Android do you have now? Is it a Galaxy, Samsung? Is it an LG G or an HTC U? So since I stripped the car, I now got 50 gold coins. They've been waiting for me to strip a car for the longest. And now I got upgrade 20 parts. Yay. The run 20 regulation races, highly annoying. I don't like doing those because they're super slow motion. All right, got that stripped on out. Let's see what we get now. All right, Volkswagen tires, Volkswagen Nitro, Volkswagen body, got a rear intake, rear turbo, rear engine. All right, so now we got the Tornado Red Scirocco R Tier 2. Go ahead and strip this car, $10,000. Oh, you got the Revel Plus. Cool. You're on a TAD 4 and it's slow. It keeps on your device. Not for sure what the on your device. Is that a Samsung Tab 4 maybe? Hey Victor, welcome aboard. Jump on in the chat wherever you want. Feel free to ask questions, engage, communicate, and let's just have fun. Right now I'm working on the Prestige Cup, but in the middle of making it not so boring, I'm doing other things along with the game. Earlier I gave a demo of what the new license plate structure looks like. Let's go ahead and strip this, I believe the last car, Mercedes-Benz Cirrus White. This is the only color that this car came in. The Mercedes-Benz A45 AMG, it only came in this white color. Strip that for $10,000. And let's see what parts we get. And there we go. Starting off with the uncommons. Uncommon body. Tire. Got an epic nitrous. Got an epic engine. Got an epic intake. And an epic transmission. Stage 6 engine. And there we go. So now some of the cars now have license plates on the front. Not all of them do. This one, they kind of just stamped it on front of the car. So it doesn't look like it's really in a good position there. But like the Honda Civic, they don't have it on the front. But let's go ahead and strip this last car in Sepang Blue, the Audi TT RS Tier 2 car, the Revival. They call it the Revival? Okay, that's cool. Uncommon engine, uncommon tire, uncommon transmission, uncommon nitrous, a rare intake, rare turbo, rare transmission, rare body, and there we go. This is last season's Milestone 1 car. The BMW i8 Tier 4 came in Protonic Blue. Currently I got 28 upgrades on it and 30 fusions. I never bothered to buy the rest of the upgrades on there. I've got into a method where I'm always leaving the last stage 5 upgrades on the last 2 milestone cars. So that way when a milestone comes around and I get those free upgrades at random, I'll actually have something I can spend some good money on versus, you know, the little wimpy stage 1 upgrades on any car. Stage 1 is always your cheapest and stage 5 is always going to be your most expensive. I'm stripping all those cars because they are duplicate cars for me. I have a huge inventory of cars. Currently in the game tells me that I have 148 cars. So if you ever want to know how many cars you have without counting the garages and multiplying that times 6, you can click on the little profile tab, click on the profile wording, scroll up to how many cars you have. You can see how many races I won and how much lifetime cash I had. If you're curious about my half-time miles and my quarter-time miles, and why my quarter time is slower than my half mile, it's because those are actually previously were from the elite licenses. When I played it, the half mile time is actually my 0 to 60 time, and my quarter mile time is actually my 0 to 100 time, and it never got updated there. For whatever reason, I've seen a couple other people's, and it shows there's still half mile and quarter mile time. Mine's got changed at some point for whatever reason, and it never got changed back. So now, strip those cars. Let's go ahead and jump on in and collect our 20 gold coins. Change the car again. But yep, that's why, Victor, I was stripping cars. I pulled 15 cars that were all basic duplicates of what I had already. So I always upgrade my cars to stage 5 and strip them when they're duplicate so I can get better parts from the stripping. So instead of getting all uncommon parts and maybe a couple rare or even a couple epics, by upgrading them I increase the odds of getting rare and epic parts for the cars. With the stripping, as well as stage 6 upgrades. It's no guarantee that you can, because it doesn't have any label how many parts you're going to get for the car at each stage, but upgraded cars typically get increased odds of getting better parts. The game is notorious for giving you a whole bunch of uncommon parts, so anything I can do to minimize the amount of uncommon parts I get, I'm all for. Right now I'm going to wait. The time is ticking down. I got 5 seconds left to get my free fuel pip. After I get that, I'm going to go ahead and purchase some fuel. And just like that, now I have 11 races. And we're going to continue on with the showboat here. Alrighty. So it looks like I ran a 10.5, if I'm not mistaken. It may be a 10.6. Yep, 10.522. So my car is now fully set up and functional and operational for me to be able to complete this Prestige Cup without any more changes needed to it. So I don't need to add any more upgrades for stage 6, even though I might get a duplicate, and I don't need to add any more fusions. It's fast enough. So I always encourage people, drop all your uncommons on cars, if you have any, and then think about your rares. Make wise decisions with your epics. Epics are the hardest parts to get, and they're ultimately what you need the most parts of in order to upgrade a car. So epics, be very wise with your choices on which cars to put epic parts on. When it comes to your rare parts, you get a decent amount of those. You know, you might get 40 uncommon, you might get 10 rare, and you might get 5 epics or 4 epics for a car. And you need just as many epics, if not more, for a car to fully maximize it. So whenever you're putting parts onto a car, always think about it. Is this car going to be fast? The new Koenigsegg 1.1 has been updated, so it was one of the slower cars in the game. Now it's one of the faster cars. Not the fastest, but one of the faster cars. So now it's running in the 8 seconds with ease instead of running in the 9 seconds. I believe I used to run 11 seconds with the car, maybe even 12 seconds, I'm not for sure. All my EV shot up on until I'm over 1,500 on EV on the car, and it runs pretty fast. You think 27, race number 27 is difficult? Well, we're getting close to it. We just completed 20 races. Right now, my crew has 16,744,000, it says. After I get done collecting this 300,000 for this, I'm going to grab my 30,000 from my token cup, and I'm going to grab my 30,000 from Jerry's daily bonus, and I will give my crew 420,000 RP for me. Not bad. Not bad at all. Alright, so... well, that's one way of doing it. The only problem with stage 6s is Stage 6s can be very difficult to get. One car, the Audi RS5 Coupe, the original one, it took me 12 months before the car got fully upgraded with all Stage 6 upgrades on it. I love that car. I drove it till the wheels fell off, and I made Jess put the wheels back on so I can keep driving it. But Stage 6 upgrades are difficult to get. I would say epic parts, getting enough epic parts for a car is the hardest thing to do. Stage 6 is the next hardest thing to do. Then the rare, then the uncommon when it comes to cars. That's my personal view of playing the game as long as I played it and seeing the transition. Certain cars you do get a bunch more parts than you get with other cars, and the same thing with parts. Certain parts you get more inventory of, like body, tires, and even engines. You can typically get more parts of those than anything. Well, no. I only put Fusion on cars that I'm keeping. Fusion doesn't go on any car. It only goes on cars that I am keeping. So, like all those cars you see me strip a few minutes ago, I wasn't planning on keeping any of those cars. So I paid the cash to get them upgraded. I waited the time for the Stage 4 to come in, waited the time for the Stage 5 to come in, and then I stripped them whenever I wanted to. But if I am keeping the car, there is no Fusions being put on that car, and there is no Stage 6 being put on that car, because I'm not going to spend the gold to strip off those parts. I have one car that I never put any upgrades on there. It was only Stage 5 upgraded, and somehow or another it had 42 Stage 6 upgrades on it. I believe Natural Motion gave it to me when they had all the parts that came up missing before. About a year ago, parts came up missing, and I was using that car strictly for the performance trial, so I know I didn't have Stage 6 on it, but it cost me over 4,000 gold coins to get it stripped because it had all the Stage 6s on it that I didn't put on the car, but I needed to get rid of it. I probably had 5 Nissan GTRs, the 2015s. So I have one of them that's fully maxed out, and then all the other cars that got stripped for parts. Yep, Porsches are difficult to get, but amazingly I think I pulled 3 or 4 of the 911s. The different versions of the 911s. I think I pulled a 911 GT 3, I think I pulled a GT3 RS, and a 911 Turbo S. I think it's called uncommon just because someone decided uncommon would be a great oxymoron statement in regards to it. That's just my guess. I wasn't a part of the original variations of the games with CSR or the classics, so I imagine maybe this might have been a carryover from those games. I don't know, but yeah, I used to think, oh, it's uncommon. Okay, you don't get that many of them, until I had 60 in my inventory of engine and 50 of tires and 70 nitros, and I'm like, well, why do I have all these parts if they're so uncommon? Same thing. Just another part of that weirdness of the game. But, you know, part of the weirdness is part of our addiction to the game to keep playing it. Trying to get those things that we need so we can keep advancing. Yep, you learned your lesson. Same lesson that I learned. I've been playing a game where it's long. Before, they did not used to actually cost you gold to strip a car when it has Stage 6 parts on it. But the part that really made me upset about the strip it, and I had to, this gold that you use actually takes those Stage 6 parts off and put it back into your inventory. So when I stripped that car, I got those 7 Stage 6 upgrades for the Nissan GTR 2015. So I got 7 of them, plus they gave me 3 of them inside the recovery. So I got a total of 10 Stage 6 parts put into my inventory for my Nissan GTR, and I already had one that was 42 or 42 upgrades. So I got a whole lot of stuff that I didn't need. I would have preferred if they would have gave me epics instead of the Stage 6s in that regard. How to win more RP? I highly encourage you to first find a car that you can win in, whether it's stage 1, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, tier 5. Win races in that car. But I've also discovered that the higher the EV number is on the car, the better likely you are to get RP out of the car. And look at that, it froze. Yay. Always fun to see that freezing. But yeah, so the better the EV value on the car, the better the RP is that you can get, especially when it comes to bots. I find that bots, you get a lot more RP when you race them when you have over 1,000 EV in your tier 5. If you're less than that, you typically get anywhere from 600 to 700. And if you're racing a stock tier 5 car, and I've done this to meet up with other people to give them money so they can buy upgrades and things like that for their car, I've actually gotten as little as 208 RP out of a win from them. So that really nailed it home to me that the EV is associated with the RP values, but there's no real guarantee of knowledge of how RP is configured, because you can race one person and get 500 RP from them, and then you can race another racer and get 2,600 RP from them. So for both races, you know, total you got 1,500 RP per race, but you got 500 from one and you got 1,600 or 2,600 from the other. So it's kind of hard, and this could be in the same lobby, basically seconds apart from each other race. RP is something that's completely unknown. It's some manufactured numbering system that they have set up that generates the RP values that we actually get. But if you can find someone you can swap with, if you can get 1,200 to 1,700, then you're doing good. Keep racing with that person if you get that. If you can get over 1,800 per race, keep it up. But it's a good chance that that other person may not be getting as many RP as you getting, so they may not actually want to swap with you. The higher RP you get from someone, the lower RP they'll get from you. So you want to keep a balance of roughly somewhere along the lines of 1,500 per race. And that actually was race number 27 that I just completed there. I ran a 10.5 against a 10.612, and I was able to win with no problem. So let's go ahead and jump on to race 28. But first, I must watch this video. But how do you know the difficulty of your opponent? Everybody's supposed to be in lobbies where they're evenly matched and evenly against each other. So it's hard to say that, oh, this person actually runs a 10.3 and you run a 10.0. And it's hard to say, oh, this person runs a 9.8 and you run a 10.0. The lobbies are on 0.2 second variances, but people have figured out how to skate inside the lobbies. So even though you're supposed to be in a 9.8 lobby or a 10.0 lobby, you can get in a 10.2 or a 10.3. People have learned how to manipulate the system, but the ironic part is a lot of people don't understand the system still. So it looks like this race is actually a little bit harder. And there we go, another intake, which I believe I have already. Let's see here. That's a 10.572 that it ran. And the Prestige Cup time that I got from people. I'm going to have to upgrade the car a little bit more. It's a 10.439 that they actually ran. So I'm currently not running a 10.4 or anything. 10.5 is the fastest that I can run in the car. So I'm going to have to definitely add a couple of fusions onto the car. And I just lost that race. He came and beat me at the very end. Darn you, Craig, and your M4. 10.473. And even I ran a 10.494, which is still faster than what I ran before. Let's go ahead and drop a couple of fusions on here real quick. Swapping doesn't get you more RP. So the only thing I can really do I have an uncommon I can put on there? I got one uncommon. And I got one rare. Oh, I got 3 rares. So I can drop some more rares on there. That'll help out a little bit. Only thing I have left for the engine is an epic. Alright, that should definitely put me over. That elite license bonus on there only guarantees you improved RP racing bots. That's the only guarantee that you get out of it. It does not get you guaranteed with anything else. The reason why I say that is I did the same thing. I got my elite license on my Chiron Red, so I run a 58% as well. And the only place I notice a difference is in racing simulated races, which is basically racing bots. So bots in live races or racing against the computer in the cups, the trials, and the Prestige Cup. I haven't been able to race the Prestige, apologize. And the trials and the cups. So anything that's daily races against bots, I can noticeably get a percentage difference. So when I race against in that car in my daily races like regulation, the 50 races for the cup at the beginning of the season where you can get 75 silver keys, I get 247 RP racing in those races. But other than that, against bots, I get 1,487 RP racing bots in it. And that's the only difference that I can guarantee I get better RP out of. Everybody else, the RP varies depending upon the racer. Quick match 2 plus 2 is 4. Don't get that relation there, Anonymous. What you got there for us? I don't know what the quick match references towards. Alright, this should be fast enough, I assume. Okay, not for sure what Big Shack 2 plus 2 is for math. But once again, when you're doing live races, you have no clue what your RP value is associated with the racer that you're racing against. So it's impossible to say that because you can take the race against a car that has no stars, and you can get 2,000 RP just like you can do a car that has 5 purple stars with the elite bonus and get a RP of 2,000. So it's hard to say. Just like you can get, before I used to get 208 RP with my purple star and everything like that. So yeah, that's the big anomaly, is that RP values is unknown. The only RP values that is known is racing against bots. Everything else is all suspected. Actually, I'm going to be doing a video on RP at some point in time in the near future. And I'm going to race tier 1 with no star, 1 star, 2 star, and the 3 purple star with the elite license and without the elite license to show the different values, and do that for tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, tier 5 with the different races, so you can see what the RP values is like with all the different cars. I've heard of the comedian Big Shack before. Actually, I've seen a video with him, and that's one of the bugs in the game. If you grab fuel on that last race, well, not the last race, but you're going to race the last race, it pops you back to the map option instead of popping you back into the next race. One of the quirks of the next race system. Very weird, very odd. Why it does that, I couldn't tell you, but it's something I noticed, and I find it hilarious. Well, let's see here. The Cayman GT4 Tier 3. It's a ferocious little monster. And I think I'm probably going to lose this race. Just don't feel too confident about the start. And here he comes up. I won. He came flying, but he didn't fly by. Awesome. It only cost me one epic part that I didn't want to use. The benefit of that epic part, and this is the only time I advise using gold, is that this is a tier 2 car. The cost to remove that epic part is very little. So it is a-okay in comparison to a tier 5 with removing epic. So I highly recommend, it's not that costly to drop parts onto a tier 1, a tier 2, or a tier 3 car. So right now I'm going to go ahead and collect my points. Get my free 30,000 or 20,000. Next week it'll be 30,000. My bad. That's my crew points that I collected there. Now we're almost to 17 million RP. So once I collect these other points that's out there, we're going to be at 17 million. Prestige Cup is done. Look at that. And I did it in about an hour. So we're going to go ahead and collect our 22,500 RP. Once that gets collected, we should be at 17 million comfortably, just like that. Going to collect our 7,500, just like that. Collect my 20 tokens, just because, I'm cool like that. All right. Now let's go ahead and jump on in and take a look and see where I am at and where my crew is situated at. So currently we have all these items that I can claim. Got the stage 6 for the ZR1, but we're still short of being able to collect that 20 million. So the next 24 hours or so we should get there. On the leaderboard, we're currently 1,835 in the world. And Millie has said that Shaheen is cheating. They should get dropped out of the leaderboard. And it looks like there's a couple other crews that might be cheating in the top 10. I'm not for sure what anybody's doing, but this is what my current crew top 5 looks like. 843, 902, 972, 982, and I have 1,309. So 1.309. So we're not doing too bad. My low-ranking members are the ones that's really hurting the stats, but they're not going to impede us on getting the car. Will you be getting the Ferrari bundle? If so, will you be making a video about it? Well, if they gave me 30,000 every single day, that would be times 14, so that's a little bit over. It'd be 3 million plus 120,000, so that'd be 3.1 million. Some people in my crew actually need to get those type of bundles every single day because they don't play enough. I wish that they did play more often. Since we got a couple of minutes here, I'm going to strip out a couple more cars here, and then I'm going to show you where I currently stand with a couple things. So this time I got 2 of these Gulf MK1s, which I just like, well, why am I getting this tier 1 car that is, okay, 2-star, yay. But it is what it is. You get what you get. Can't complain about it too much. Red line, red tri-coat on the SRT Hellcat, tier 3. Don't need it. see here. Gotta strip this Range Rover. It's actually not a bad looking color on it. I got two. Actually, I think this is my 5th Range Rover that I received. This one is in Santorini Black. I am missing 1 or 2 stage 6s that I hope I can get in this collection here. I doubt it, because you know you never get what you need when you want it. But I do need some epic fusion parts for it. Alright, and here we go, the Yellow Blaze Tri-Coat on the Ford Mustang GT Premium Tier 3. Now the one thing I have not done in my collection of cars here is that I have not upgraded the Tier 5 cars that I received, and I have not upgraded the Tier 4 cars that I received, because I didn't want to spend the extra money at that point in time to upgrade those. They are more expensive to upgrade. Turbo Stage 6, and here go the Grabber Blue Mustang GT Premium Tier 3. Nope, don't get a lot of epics. That's why I always say, epics is the hardest parts to come by. You can get stage 6s left and right, it seems like, even duplicate stage 6s, but when it comes to epic parts, you don't get a whole lot of inventory of those. And you need more epics than you need anything else. Alright, so let's see here. Ford Focus RS Ultimate Green. Actually, the one I have is Ultimate Green as well. When I seen this one, I was like, I think I got that one in that color already. And they gave me the same thing, which is fine. You know, something is better than nothing. Hey, stage 6 body part. Now let's take a quick look at the inventory. I believe I'm done with stripping. Start with the Ford, since I got 2 GTs and a Focus. That's what I got there. So my Mustang Premium, I got 4 nitrous. The Focus, I only got 2 of the bodies. Everything else I have 1. The Hondas, I got 2 Civic Type Rs, the intake and the transmission. And I believe I have both of those already on the car. So yay, the duplicates. Got a 3rd Scirocco for the intake. You know, nothing says fun like duplicate parts. And then for the AMG, I got the A45. As you can see, I got a whole lot of those parts. And looking at, let's look at the Ferrari. So I got plenty of inventory when it comes to uncommons. I got a decent amount when it comes to rares. And my epics, I'm kind of low on. I'm going to have to drop some epics on these Ferraris for the Ferrari events, and I know I'm not going to have enough. I'm going to have to wind up stripping parts from one car to another. Dodge, got a bunch of parts here. I actually used to sell my uncommon parts. When I got to certain points in the game, I'll be like, you know, I don't need all these parts. I'm going to go ahead and start selling them. So I used to keep no more than 15 epics. Not epics, 15 uncommon parts. And look at that for the engine here. I got 26 engine parts. 26. What I'm going to do with all those engines? Not even that many Volkswagens in the game. I got a Mazda part. I got the Epic there. 2 Epic Nitros, and I can't use either one of them. Mercedes-Benz, I just got some parts there. I think I'm done with stripping here. So, yep, I got the F-Type. Now, one thing I have noticed with the F-Type, I want to show you this, see what you guys think. It says Jaguar F-Type R AWD Coupe all-wheel drive. But when you look at the info, it says drive type 4-wheel drive. So which is it? Is it an all-wheel drive vehicle or a 4-wheel drive vehicle? Don't know. Curious minds want to know. Yeah, I've been playing the game for a while, so I have an accumulation of parts. I will admit that. I will be open to that. So like there go the 911 Turbo S. I stripped the other one. I haven't decided if I wanted to strip that one or not. We're going to make it down to garage 19, I think it is. And garage 20. Yep, there we go. So this is my Ferrari 70th anniversary garage. The only one that's missing is the LaFerrari Aperta, which I hope to be able to get and put into my garage. So this one I'm currently waiting. Currently I'm sitting at 21 of 42 upgrades. I have 7 coming in. I got 26 of 67. Hold on, that doesn't sound right. 26 of 67? These are normally 135. Like this. No, that says 67 as well. I think that's a bug. 85 of 67? Yeah, we definitely have a bug in the game. It sure would be nice if it actually is 67. That means there's less parts I'm going to have to put onto the car. 114 out of 67. I never put a license plate on this thing. I just remembered. I need to put a plate on here. And just like this, you go on in, type in whatever message that you want. You hit the buy, 20 grand or 113 gold coins. Done. Yep, I have all the cars. I just have to figure out if I can win with them. So yeah, I had unlocked all the events. Just have to, like I said, be able to win. I'm going to wrap up this stream by running one of the races. So any other questions before I go? Going once, going twice. Santa Palma Beach, welcome. GTC4 Lusso 70th anniversary versus the same car. Now, let's hear the revs. You hear the engines revving. And let's go. Gonna use no knives for it. I should be able to win. It was listed as an easy race. And just like that, am I gonna make it up to 200? Can I make it up to 200? Oh, I made it up to 200. Awesome. Alright, so with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and let the video end. The stream is over. Thanks everybody for coming through, participating. Hope everybody had a good time. And see you out there on the roadways. Until then, keep racing, keep having fun, collect your money, upgrade your garage. This is MrXsee. Have a great one. Thanks. Have a great one.